People can see our faces. Let me just check it on Twitch. See if that's working. La la ma.
Yeah, it works.
It works?
Yeah.
Yay!
Yeah.
Oh, drink, everybody. Christ almighty. Sorry about that, everybody. I want to show you the welcome screen. That's all of us. Yay! Nerd Gaze, episode 8. Coming at you.
Damn.
I'm Kurt Santana, Brown Michael Sarah. I'm joined by... Can anyone see the Twitch stream right now? Is everyone looking? We can go in clockwise.
Yeah, I'm looking.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, we're all here. We're all here. Sounds good. All right.
Okay, great. Yeah, introduce ourselves going clockwise then.
isn't
Rivka,
that
that's you. That's you.
Tobias? That's me. Oh, true. I don't understand.
Oh no, that's counterclockwise. We're going counterclockwise.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I'm Rivka. That's it.
That's all you need to know.
Hello.
Asada, you're up.
Hi, I'm Asada. Yeah. Here I am.
And I'm
Is that the-
Tobias.
Nice.
What's up?
Awesome. This is Nerd Gaze. This is a pop culture roundup, and we like to promote intersectional discourse on nerd ephemera. And the topic this week is coping. And the title of the episode is Coping Unhinged. And so we're going to be deconstructing the idea of coping, how people cope, how it changes when it becomes an everyday practice, since we are in round 2 of lockdowns. Crazy stuff's going on. It's also election month, maybe even the rest of the year. So yeah, you gotta get your tools or yourself ready for just a shit show and a whirlwind of news. Every time we do the show, we like to promote a cause that we think is beneficial to other people. And so tonight, our cause is the Trevor Project. I'm going to be throwing a link into the chat for you to donate via Tiltify. But the Trevor Project is a great organization that offers programs that help LGBTQ youth. And gives alerts to suicide prevention. So that's the cause we're donating to. I will put that in the chat. I didn't make a Nightbot command, so we're doing everything ad hoc here. How's everyone doing?
You know.
I don't know. I mean, in general, I mean, did anyone go to work today? Did anyone do anything fun?
Yeah, I worked like on Hooligan Creative Stuff today, which is my creative agency. But yeah, I made really good dinner. I made like a tilapia rice bowl. That was really good.
Nice.
My parents have COVID, so I'm dealing with that. Yeah, I feel like everything is so like oh, my grandma has it too. She's in the hospital. She's okay. So let's just hope for the best, you know?
And yeah, I mean, like I know it's like really tough to like talk about this, but I mean, like, what did you do when like you first heard that news and that sort of impact? Like, what did you do to, you know?
Yeah, I mean, I was not in Chicago, so I was visiting my partner. So it was definitely hard, but we coped basically by just playing The Sims, like a lot of The Sims.
That's awesome.
Yeah, we like played The Sims every night. Like our new thing is now like playing The Sims at night at the same time. So that's that. that's where I'm at.
What's your like Sims prerogative when you do it? Are you like sadistic where you like to make a house where they're trapped and they can't go to the bathroom?
No, no, we I take it really seriously, and so do they. I
Okay.
definitely like my way of playing Sims is like has always been like to dissociate from this world, and so I just
Mhm.
like create like this really ideal version of a life and go there, and it's
Mhm.
just really relaxing for me, and I just like complete tasks, and I'm just like literally sitting there like listening to music and like for hours, and that's
Living
just
through
how
this.
that's how I cope. Like it's always been a coping mechanism for me. Um, yeah, I take it pretty seriously, and I'm lucky to have found someone who also takes it seriously. um, yeah, we did watch When Harry Met Sally at one point with their mom, which was fun. If we're talking about rom coms, that's one of my favorites.
Yeah, I'm sorry you weren't part of the rom-coms convo.
I know.
But yeah, rom-coms. Asada, we were talking about rom-coms and how they might offer us some sort of comfort. How have you
That we were.
been keeping been keeping yourself you know, calm, de-stressed, and yeah, what are your distractions?
I'm trying to read more actually, because I spend a lot of time like on my computer, especially like I'm in a really like heavy workload moment, and
Mhm.
I don't have a break for several weeks, so I'm trying to like get away from my computer as much as possible. Um, so I'm trying to read more, and me and my mom have been hiking recently, which is fun. Like drive up to the mountains in like northern Maryland, and we don't have cell phone service, so it's great.
Oh my god, that sounds amazing.
It's great. And then it's like no one out there because it's like last time we went, it was very rainy, so it wasn't that many people out.
Yeah.
So that's been good, especially for like both of us too. We've been really busy with work and like life has been crazy in general. So
Yeah.
Tobias, you were how have you been coping? And I know you were trying to get that PS5 today.
Sometimes you cope with buying things that you don't even want or need. Um for me, I am the retail therapy person. Um, just I I have I've just been like buying little things every day, pretty much here and there. Um, as a way to cope with like stress and stuff. And I think sometimes I treat it as like a reward for like doing something. Not that you should view it like that. That can turn really bad. um, but also another thing I've been doing, I actually have been going out for bike rides. And I went out on a bike ride while the weather was still nice this week on Monday. And while I was biking, my pretty much my crank arm just straight up fell off while I was like
Oh,
riding the bike. Uh, which you know what wasn't too bad. I didn't fall. I didn't get hurt. I was only like maybe a half mile away from my house. Like
okay.
it was cool. I ended up fixing the problem and then getting right back on my bike like an hour later and
mm-hmm.
biking like a good like 2 to 3 miles, and that felt great. Uh, Especially like that moment where like you're going downhill and like you just feel like you're the fastest thing alive. There's
Oh yeah.
really there's just nothing that feels better than that sometimes. Yeah, yeah. So that's pretty much what my week has pretty much been.
That's awesome. Well, we came up with this idea of the show where, people are pretty much combusting. Um, and um, once everyone went into lockdown and quarantine started, it was just like, okay, no one's really taking care of this situation, and the situation just keeps on getting worse. So maybe we should just start watching, listening, reading, doing all the things that help us de-stress. But that became just a daily activity. And it was kind of like, okay, now we're de-stressing 24/7. What does it mean to cope now that it's just becoming a regular day activity? And that sort of idea kind of started rolling too, where we were just like, well, some of the things that gave us comfort when we were younger, we kind of grow out of them. So maybe that's something that's happening too. um I don't know, does anyone have any thoughts on that, like, immediately?
Yeah, well, I think that it's we were having that conversation because we were talking about how we're coping in this time of like kind of unending uncertainty and like this like just it feels like it just we don't have a finish line in any way. And
Mm-hmm.
like I think I brought it up because I was like, I used to have this like this distinct, I go to work or like I go to the gym or I go to do this thing and then I come back and I decompress and I like chill with a certain piece of media, whether it's a TV show or a movie or a book or a comic or Sims, whatever. And now it's like those are available at all times, and there's no difference between like the going to do the task and coming home to chill. It's like you have the option to chill at all times, and you also have your task right next to you at all times. And so it's like, unless you are an essential worker, um, and then that's just a different story. But in the case of all of us who are working from home, um, like it feels like never ending, um because we're not actually chilling. That's the hard thing, is like I don't actually feel decompressed, you
Yeah.
know.
Right. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there's no like separation from work life and home life. It's all in one. And I know for me, I always feel bad if I like take a break in the day because I'm like, I have so much stuff to do. Like, I could be working right now, I could be doing this right now.
Yeah.
And it's like if I was at the office, I would take a break. I would go like to my friends, like I would go to my in someone's office and talk, or I go make coffee or walk to the coffee shop or something. And I never felt bad about it then. But now I'm
Right.
at home and I'm like, if I don't work 10 hours a day, I feel bad about it.
Mm-hmm.
Which is
So it's
Yeah,
crazy.
like,
yeah.
so it's
I
like,
mean, mhm.
it's just so much.
Yeah. I mean, for for me, I mean, when I was at work, and I mean, and I mean, actually in a place, I mean, for me, I thought like, oh yeah, I'm definitely doing time theft. What, what do you, what do you think, what do you think this is? Like, yeah, like no one's getting one over on me, and now I'm here. Like, I was like working over the weekend, um, when like I didn't have to, but it
Mm.
was, because I like finished out my week, but I felt that I didn't do enough that week because I like there was a day where I didn't do much. Maybe I did like two or three tasks and then I laid around for the rest of the day. That doesn't feel good to me. And I could
Yeah.
finally do what I need to do on the weekend because we
Yeah.
didn't have people online on our servers anymore, so I could mess around with something. But
Mhm.
like just like stuff like that of where like you're spending so much more time than I mean should. Even at my job, I remember there was one night where I had to restart a whole server, and then there was one person online or there were like multiple people still online, and it was at like 12. It was 12 at night, and like
Mm-hmm.
it is just I think so many people that are in like office work or like are dealing with a at home job just don't know when to turn
Well,
this
yeah, I
stuff
think there's
off. You
Wow.
know?
I think
Mm-hmm.
it's the combination of like feeling of scarcity, like feeling like, oh, any minute you could get laid off. Like I
You
got laid
could,
off from
yeah.
my yeah, like I got laid off from my job in June, and then I started my own thing, and then like but now I'm at a point where I'm like applying for new jobs, and then I'm like, well, I still want to do my thing. I just want some stability again, because when unemployment runs out, it's gonna terrible things are gonna happen, right? And so it's
Mm-hmm.
like I so there's this And a part of me was like, this crazy thought when I was like, what else do I have to do but do work right now? You know, like I don't have anything. Like I'm not. My social life was all going to events pre-COVID. Like it was
Mm.
hosting events and going to events and supporting people through events. Like that was my social life. That was like or going on dates. You know, like but like both of those things not exactly like fun anymore. And I mean, you know,
You don't want to go through the pumpkin patch, like like for the 50th time.
I already did that.
Yeah, like so did I, and and I just was like, damn, this is really the only option out here.
Literally, it was fun. I went to the pumpkin patch 3 times this fall. Like the most I've ever gotten. Yeah, and like so there's like I feel like yeah, I like this idea of like I could just work a lot and it'll be fine. Because there's nothing else to do because I've fucking exhausted all I've watched like I was saying this yesterday, but I've watched so much media. I've consumed and engaged with so much media in quarantine. And I'm like I love media. I love consuming media, but I'm a little bit tired out.
Mm.
I'm like a little burnt out from like watching like I was like a few weeks ago I was on the Studio Ghibli, binge and I was watching like every single one and I'm like I think I actually need a break.
Right. I don't know if I could actually do a marathon of Studio um, Ghibli. I don't know.
I was doing like every night. I was doing like
yeah.
almost
I mean,
every night.
even that, even if I was marathoning it back and forth, because like, I mean, I totally understand if you're in the mode, like when you binge watch a show, it's just like, okay, I'm in it with these characters and I want to see them get through it, or I want to see this to completion. But I think I would personally want different vibes out of the content that I'm watching, where it's like not to say that all of those movies are the same, but it's just like I just don't want to see this type of animation every single night.
Well, something I've been struggling with is trying to figure out what comfort even means anymore. Like I the things that you going back to the question, like the things that used to bring me comfort don't do the same thing anymore for me, or like
Mm-hmm.
I don't want to rewatch. Like for a while I was just watching a ton of animated like DC stuff and I was like
Mm-hmm.
fully sucked in that, and like that was bringing me a lot of joy and comfort, but like I finished a lot of it and like most of it I think. And I just don't like that's it. Like I feel like okay, now what? And I'm like I don't know what brings me comfort. Like I don't really have anything right now that's like a TV show that I can just casually watch. Usually I have like a casual TV show, but I don't have one right now.
Have you ever thought about just putting on the same show that you're already watched just again
I
and again?
can't do that though cuz I'm so not casual. Like I get so invested in shit. Like so I'm just like, well, I already invested in this, so like
Yeah.
you know.
And the only reason why I say that is because I've been when it's late at night and I want something on the TV, but I'm not really like watching, has been the Venture Brothers.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this is a series that I've watched maybe a good like 3 times over now. I guess I mean each time has been with another season added at the end, but this time uh since the Venture Brothers has now been like canceled, I guess. Um, yeah, it has gone up to the eighth, I mean, season. And I just have been very much like brain off, uh, sit here, watch dumb jokes fly. And also there is a very much a deep sadness to the Venture Brothers that just really like just digs with me. Like I'm just like, all right, cool. Like no one here is a hero. Everyone is like
You love that shit.
sad about like what they could have been. Like,
That's a common theme for you, I think.
Yeah, no. I mean, I love to see people not uh, um I love to just to see people deal with like not being able to achieve what they thought they would. Like, that's a very real life thing. Like, and like that happens to people every day. That's happened to me. I mean, I know we're all young here, but like, there's things that I thought I would be done by like 20, like on that dumb wave of like, yeah, with I mean enough um hard work, I can do anything. No, sometimes, 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 sometimes things take time,
Mhm.
and I mean, I'm not saying that Venture Brothers has people that never achieve anything, but it's definitely a lot of people that are late bloomers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've had a lot of people recommend me to watch Venture Brothers.
I think if you liked the animated DC stuff and you liked, honestly, Venture Brothers uh is what made the Harley Quinn show possible. So that that's like uh, yeah, and also some of the same people that worked on Harley Quinn worked on Venture Brothers. So
Oh, hell yeah.
it's
I know.
definitely fun.
I should do it.
Yeah.
All right, I'll do it.
All right, so we're talking about that next week then.
Oh
Yeah.
no, we don't have to talk about that this
Oh,
week.
okay.
Well, I got
It's-
into
it's
X Men
just
for
something.
like a second because you guys told me to, and I liked it, but I felt like it was a little bit too like young, like
Yeah,
a little bit
dated,
too
I would say.
dated, like a little.
And that's
I
X Men
was like,
Evolution, right?
Yeah.
yeah, I need some
Mm.
like like some sexy like little.
You want some adult animation? I see.
I want more Logan. Yeah. Come on, I just want to watch. I want another Harley Quinn. Come on, can you? I just need more of that. Give me that Harley Quinn, spooned by the spoonfuls. That's a good show. Although I have been watching Bob's Burgers has been a comfort show for me since
Mhm.
like it came
Oh,
out,
yeah.
and I still keep up with it. Like,
yeah, that one's good.
yeah,
That's
Yeah.
I always like watching that show when I need something to watch when I'm eating.
Same. Yeah, whenever I'm eating, I watch Bob's Burgers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
I've
how I
been
feel
getting
about
more
it.
into the practice of like staring into the void while I'm eating. I feel like that's the only time where I'm not looking at a screen, when I'm just like looking at my food, or I'm looking out of the window. Because I'm
A real
usually only
adult.
eating. Yeah, I'm only eating like one meal a day, and it's like when the sun's out.
Oh my God, Kurt.
I'm getting better at it. I also
We
have a
need to
bunch of
talk
candy
about
here.
that.
Yeah, we do need to
What
talk.
what the fuck is self-care, Kurt? Come on.
I don't know. It's
Wait,
it's
Twitch, baby.
well, that's
He's
another
streaming
thing
all day.
too, where it's just like, if you're not taking care of yourself, how are you going to be able to take care of other people? And a lot of people have, and everyone always says this, like when it comes to self-care, you need to create this sort of foundation or sort of like support system that includes like friends who you can talk to about these particular things, or but everyone's pretty much like in the same boat, in that like I don't know if everyone is capable of holding everybody else's grief and pain when we're going through so much ourselves.
Yeah.
Has it been challenging for anybody in terms of like helping other people, let alone helping yourself?
Yeah, that's like my whole thing.
Yeah.
That's like my whole theme in life is that I overextend myself for other people and never prioritize myself. That's what I always come back to. And it's funny because I was talking to somebody today about who's a therapist, and like they're first generation immigrant, Southeast Asian, and like we were talking about how like we grew up in this culture, like just immigrant at least culture of like you have to always prioritize everybody else,
Mm.
and like especially your family, and like caretake your family, caretake everybody in your life, and like you come second or third. And that's something that I've been unlearning because it's coming up a lot for me in a lot of hard ways. um, and I'm actually reading Adrienne Marie Brown's book Pleasure Activism right now, and it's very good, and it's all about basically this, like centering pleasure and care for yourself um as an act of activism. um because you're right, there it really is no, like my friends right now are having this really amazing like artist retreat for BIPOC on the front lines. They're called Activation Residency, and Camera, who runs it, always says care is the center of the revolution. um and that's something that we often overlook, because when we aren't taking ourselves, we really do falter and we can't take care of each other, just like you said, Kurt. And so
Mm-hmm.
yeah, that's been on my mind a lot, because we are like, what we're entering right now at the second lockdown, I mean, that's like, this is a full on, like, this is a crisis. Like,
Mm-hmm.
we're not meant to, this is not okay.
Right. Yeah. I
We've
mean,
like it's
go ahead.
so interesting. We've like kind of, instead of like fixing this problem, we have adjusted to living with it when that's not sustainable. So now we're having to come back around for a second time
Mm-hmm.
to like try to get it back on course, which like is happening all over the place, but
I mean, that's the
it's
irony of it, is
just
that it's like, it, people like in power continue to, rather than fixing problems, they force the people who are impacted by the problem to adjust to it. And that can be said for so many
right.
systemic issues, all of systemic issues. Um, which is funny when people kind of like get pissed at like radicals or leftists, because they're like, why would you want to fix this, the root of the problem? Because the root of the problem means actually confronting the system as a whole, and that means
Mm-hmm.
everybody's life gets affected, because people have assimilated so much into this, like, I call it the facade of normalcy. And like the facade of normalcy, which I kind of feel like is a Doom Patrol reference in a way.
Mm-hmm.
um what are they called, the,
Oh, the like something like the normal police or something like that. It's
it
like
was like, what are, yeah, what are they
The
called?
Bureau?
Yeah,
the
the Bureau of,
Normalcy
Police?
Bureau. Okay.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And so like I like, yeah, like this facade of normalcy, the Bureau of Normalcy, they try to continuously create order or normal, like, you know, this quote unquote normal way of life, right?
Mm-hmm.
And what happens is people are simulating to a normal COVID way of life, or people are simulating to a white supremacist
Mm-hmm.
um way of life. And so it's not normal for us to live in that way, but because that's easier to force people to adjust, rather than to actually make people like do what they have to do to fix the problem.
Right.
um we've just assimilated into the problem. And so
Right.
that's, yeah, just something I've been thinking about too, is
Yeah.
like,
I'm glad you
and
bring
like,
that
yeah,
up. Because I've never had the vocabulary to talk about it without like mentioning capitalism or neoliberalism, because I always think of that as like the root cause of stuff like that, where it's just like,
yeah, yeah,
you know, you better get your white supremacist defense kits, because you know those people are going to start, you know, being violent, you know, or like how like ads just started saying like, oh, you're gonna be home, so you need to spend more time with family. Here's how you could do that with this type
I
of shit,
know.
you know. And it's just like, okay, now we're like, you're making
The
this sort of
car ones get
pandemic
me.
normal, and we're like, we're not gonna think
Yeah.
about what we're gonna do to address this now, but we're gonna be like, how can I sell you something even though we're going through this really shitty time?
Right. The car ones really get me because they'll be like,
Yes. Oh my god.
um, you're at home now more than ever, and like blah 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 blah. Buy a car. Like no one's going anywhere.
Right.
Who has money for a car right now?
Literally.
Get those automatic opening
Walked over to buy
trunks.
groceries. And
Yeah.
you wasn't buying a
Carvana,
car.
Carvana is like on my screen every 5 seconds. And
Oh.
every time I'm like, should I go on
Mhm.
Carvana? But
No.
there's, listen, the thing is that when lawmakers try to tell people like to have a stay at home order, or like the country has lockdown,
Mhm.
people react in the way where they're like, this is a fascist country. And it's so crazy, because like, yes, in theory, forcing people to stay in their homes and not letting them out is fascist in the sense that you're like stripping people of their rights, right? But
Mhm.
then you take, but it's totally out of context. Like the context is that there's a pandemic and that we're
Mhm.
trying to save people and that we're trying to
Right.
like not overrun hospitals, and that's why people are on lockdown. But for some reason,
Right.
every time these fucking conservatives who've probably already had COVID at this point or have lost people to COVID at this point are like, this is still infringing on my rights as a person to be selfish as fuck. And it's like, it's hard because like I'm sure all of us at some point have like have let up a little bit, have like, you know, allowed ourselves to, I don't think any of us have done anything. I've probably been the craziest one because I got on a plane. But like not you know, it wasn't as, it was okay. I was pretty, but like for the most part though, like I don't do shit. And like that's also something that I'm considering, you know, as we're going to the second lockdown. I'm like thinking about what I'm gonna do because yeah, like I'm dating someone in Philadelphia, and I'm talking about some fucking this talk show right now, but like yeah, I'm thinking about like what am I gonna, like am I just gonna, should I just go live there for the winter? You know, like should I stay here and like be in my home? What?
You need to
Yeah.
hibernate. Hibernate in the arms
Yeah,
of
because
someone you
I'm
care
like
for.
I'm not, I don't do shit. I mean, like I have like with my roommates and I work from home, and but like I don't go anywhere. I'm just like I'm gonna be so. It's just like I don't know if I can handle that.
Yeah. I was like planning to move back. I live at home right now, and I was planning to move back to Chicago. And
What up?
I'm just like, how am I do that? Like,
You can do it.
I'm
Come
gonna
on.
like I'm gonna get an apartment and just be in the house because I'm definitely not going nowhere. Like,
Could you get a roommate and then you have?
But what if
I
that
mean,
roommate, you know,
see,
isn't
exactly.
cool?
I can control like you're gonna
yeah.
be out in these streets. Like, nah, I'm
Come
not. I
over
can't risk
here.
it because you want to go get a coffee and you want to go see somebody and blah blah blah. Like, no, I can't.
Right.
I'm too paranoid for that. So I'm
True
gonna have to
that,
live by
true that.
myself. And so I'm
Yeah.
just like trying to figure out like, because I was planning to move like January, and like that's not happening. Because
Yeah.
you know COVID and Chicago January, and I gotta drive 7 hours. Like,
Ooh.
Also, like the
Who
Chicago
knows what's gonna
winter
happen?
and the flu, I think just like because people just
right.
don't know how to take
And
care
the
of
flu
themselves
season.
before the pandemic, and like this
Right.
pandemic is sort of teaching people what they should have been doing this entire time. And I mean, like, look at some of the countries that, you know, had the lowest amount of cases where it almost originated. I mean, what was it, like in Hong Kong, where they like got it down, like they lowered the rate by like 90% within the first week because everyone was already wearing masks when they
Right.
felt sick.
Right.
You know,
Right.
so it's just like
Yeah.
it's so many different things, and it's so hard to like
Yeah,
be
I don't
specific
mind
about
wearing
it.
a mask outside like at all,
Mhm.
especially in the winter. Like
Oh, it's
I think
comfy
that's,
now. We said that last night. We were like, oh, you know,
yeah,
wearing a mask is sort of comfy now.
yeah.
Yeah.
Like I don't know. Yeah, it's one of those things where, so like people that were dealing with COVID at the beginning, there was a lot of fear and a lot of uncertainty and a lot of like doctors didn't know what was going on, nurses didn't know what was going on, hospitals were overrun, all these things. Like my best friend at the time was my roommate, and like both her parents had it. Her dad was in the ICU. It was very, very intense and scary because there's so much, there's just no information, right? And so, but like her experience with that, it's changed a lot. Like as people have adjusted, you know, in a lot of ways, because like now, like you know, my parents have it. My grandma's in the hospital. My parents took my grandma to the hospital when they like felt like, you know, it was a good time to take her when she was just feeling really fatigued after like a week. And you know, now they have everything, you know, they're doing everything they can and everything, they like know all these things now about, you know, COVID. They don't have all the answers, but they know what to do when they have patients. And there's less of this panic as much. Like it's more of like people were responding to me being like, oh, I had COVID last month, it was awful, but like I got through it, like I'm hoping everything's okay. Or I knew someone, I mean, like obviously people are still dying, of course, but like people have been messaging me being like, my grandma got through it, my da 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 da, you know, like all these different things, which is, you know, somewhat comforting, but also at the same time it's so unpredictable, like you don't fucking know.
Yeah, that's
So,
yeah. that's part of it. Is like you really can't tell how it's gonna go, like, and that's what makes everything so nerve wracking and like scary that now we're going through a second wave of it. Because it's like we know more about it, but it's also changing, and we don't know everything to know about it, and so it's just like, and we can't all agree on what to do about it.
Yeah.
Like,
I mean, that also, like
Americans
that confusion.
Don't center. Yeah, I was gonna say, like, Americans don't center like community care enough to be like, I'm gonna do this because it will benefit everybody and myself.
Because that's socialist. No. That's socialist.
So it's just like, ugh.
Yeah, I mean, it's also like, yeah, America's so deeply individualist in this way where, like, that's why so many of, like, trying to explain to people who don't understand, and this also comes back to like defund the police or you know, literally any community program that is like trying to actually better the lives of people within the community. Like, people are immediately like trying to jump and be like, you know, defund the police is this and that, it's so bad, Black Lives Matters, this and that. And it's like, well, actually, if you took a little 1 second to just look at the organizations in your city or like the city near you or like wherever you are and see the actual grassroots work that people are doing, and like a lot of young people are doing, a lot of youth work that's happening to literally just delineate resources so young people have them. And so young people like it's, I'm like, it's really actually not taking away from you at all. At all. And I think that it's just this crazy narrative of like that they truly are brainwashed by. And it goes back to your point, Kurt, like, it's because it's upholding white supremacy, and white supremacy protects them, and it protects whatever. Like, there's a reason why that narrative exists, and why the liberal and conservative narrative are actually quite similar. They just are, they're executed differently.
Well, it's funny that you say that, and that is that, you know, they're a little similar. What I wrote, I think I tweeted this the other day. I was just like, why can't conservatives and racists get as tired as liberals do? Because, I mean, all of us have probably had that liberal friend who was just like, I'm exhausted. I was just like, I can't deal with this anymore.
Yeah.
You know? Or, you know, I mean, like, I'll ask, like, to the people of color on this panel, like, did you have that white friend who was trying to extend some sort of like olive branch to you and just be like, can I get some ally points? I mean, like, where were you before this pandemic, before any of these uprisings? Like get the fuck out of here. I'm not going to be there for you in this very selfish manner.
Yeah, that, I know, at least for me, I won't speak for you, Tobias, but I know for me that has been incredibly frustrating and like so annoying, of like all these people who like, where have you been this whole time, and now you think you know everything, and like you're yelling at everybody about Joe Biden on Instagram stories when, you know, a year ago you couldn't talk to me about this. So it's just like so incredibly annoying. More than anything, I have had to mute a lot of people on Instagram because I'm like, I don't want to see it. I don't want to see y'all regurgitated posts on my Instagram stories for 48 hours. Like,
regurgitated and like totally just like, it's almost as bad as like conservative media but it's designed better.
Yes. Okay. First of all, the Instagram graphic design girls are eating. Okay, like this is the best thing that ever happened to them. Like, and you know, I share one every now and then. You know, they cute or whatever. You know, they spread information, but it's like, okay, this is not like a time for you to be like, you know, winning. And also, it's just like the like overwhelming sense of relief that I saw from so many of them when they like called it in this like month-long election was just like, y'all just got started. Like, what kind of sigh of relief are you feeling? You just got here, you just got started, and the work is not over. It's far from over. Like, so what are we
I'm
doing?
definitely glad I don't follow. I definitely don't follow a lot of like liberals. So I didn't see a ton of like
Bless you.
full on Joe like propaganda, but
You know, I'm a sucker for a little, Everlane Instagram girl, okay? And I love some
hear
home
you.
decor. So those are the main ones. And
hear you.
apparently I'm gonna suffer for the content
Yo,
because
this past like year, this past like 6 months, I have still been following Alana Glazer from Broad City, and oh
yeah, I had to
my
hit
god,
that.
I
man!
unfollowed that last election.
Cringe?
I like
Yeah.
I mean, I
it's
believe
like-
it, but wow.
it is like a weird mix of taking sets worker tweets and then like applying them to liberal liberal messaging, and it's just like, oh, this is so bad.
This is fine, but it's not worth it.
No,
you know?
no,
I know, I'm like,
no, it's
part,
not.
I mean, it's so funny because like they're on the same internet as us, but it just shows that they have more money.
We are living in different worlds.
I know we're living in different worlds. They're
And
just
then-
rich people.
Right. Or you add in like, okay, I am from like my family is very like involved in elections, like outside of the presidential election, they're all poll workers.
Local.
My mom's an election judge. Like they're
Oh
very
wow, yeah.
they're all very involved. Like she couldn't do it this year because we was like, no, you are not doing it.
Yeah,
she was like, so they're all very like involved in the community that way, and like other ways, like through church. But we had, of course, we went through the group chat was like on fire with Facebook memes, like liberal Facebook memes.
Oh my
And then
god.
also being like, oh yes, Kamala, like, love this black queen. And it's like, oh my god,
Oh
like,
my god.
no. So it's like,
Oh,
I
man.
saw
I get it from
the
Instagram
craziest-
and that. It's like,
I saw
Man.
the craziest post on, so there's this publication called Hey Alma. It's like a young Jewish like women's feminist publication or whatever. And it was like Kamala Harris's husband, it's like the second gentleman is Jewish, like
oh
like
yeah.
all like woo, all this stuff. And I'm like, what?
Damn.
I'm like,
Yeah.
okay. It was
There
like,
we
and
go,
Holy
baby.
They're gonna let menorah in the
Second
White
gentleman
House.
said. And I was like,
And he just left his job because he's about to get a position. Like, what are we doing here? What are we
Literally.
doing? Didn't we
what the
spend 4
fuck?
years complaining about this?
I can't. I
Like,
can't. I don't know what. I
Mhm.
don't know. I don't even know.
Right. And this can't
Yeah.
be their version. This can't be the libs version of self-care of like signaling virtue for,
They're like,
having
"We
a
did
democratic
it,
you did what? Like we're like it's not going to get any better. I mean like and then even Lightfoot and like our like chief medical officer in Chicago was just like science won.
Did you see that fucking video?
Yeah, that was ridiculous. Oh my god.
There was
We're-
this
We're
crazy. Should
going
we
to
watch it?
brunch.
Should we watch it right now?
Let's go to brunch. Yeah, let me pull it up. Let me
I'm
pull it up.
sorry, wait. Somebody
It's-
said let's go to brunch in a video.
It's
No,
crazy.
no, no.
No.
Oh, I was about to lose my mind. I mean, look, my governor voted for Ronald Reagan instead of wrote in Ronald Reagan
Shut up.
instead of voting for anyone because he's a punk and wouldn't vote for Biden. And then he's like so happy that he won. Are you happy that he won because you didn't vote for him? Like,
Yo, he
ugh.
was just a little bit worried, I mean, with Biden and his crazy socialist ideas,
Where is this
And
video?
all
Does
of
anyone
it.
have the link? Or it's on Twitter, isn't it? Here we go.
Yeah, we have to watch it.
All right, I'm installing it. Thank
It's
God.
also funny because there's so many things that people post like earnestly on Instagram that I see get flamed on Twitter. And it's just
I
like,
know.
we really are
Yeah,
we are
yo.
on different
Twitter's
internets.
like-
we have to be because
Twitter's like, y'all don't understand critical analysis, huh?
yeah, like oh,
Instagram's
it's
like,
so
this
funny.
looks good. Share.
Yeah, like I'll see something getting joked on Twitter, and then I'll get on Instagram, and people I know will be posting.
I
it,
saw
like,
the craziest thing. I don't know. It was like it was on Instagram. And it's funny because I feel so affirmed when I get on Twitter because I'm like, okay, I'm glad that people think this was
Right.
crazy too. But it was like what to do for post-election plans or like post-election like self like save yourself basically. It was basically like there's gonna be a war. Like it was like basically like fear mongering.
brother.
I was like,
Like, oh,
you're
brother.
crazy. This is crazy.
Fashionably Kate, my coworker called Biden a socialist yesterday.
Oh my god. Oh my god.
Where's the lie? Yeah, but this is a brand new Red Scare. It's the blue scare. It's the socialist scare. I mean,
Right.
yeah. And maybe we're getting off topic from like self-care. And but
This is self-care.
This is self-care.
I know these jokes is self care.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Like, I've over the last like year, it's just been a lot of seeing. I've seen a lot of people that used to be anti-black, very much be like, "Oh, hey, like, Black Lives Matter," and I'm like, man, I could find some. I could find some choice tweets and some choice posts. Telling you, with you telling people, why don't you chill out? It's just a joke about your anti-black shit. But all right, cool. Get those retweets,
Right.
I guess. Being a phony.
Right.
Mm,
Yeah, it's become like I mean,
Right.
it's kind of like the way queer or like feminist has become commodified. Like Black Lives Matter is just like, I mean, it's become a commodity, and it's like it's on t-shirts,
Right.
and people are literally like, I get messages all the time from like spam bots being like, we need influencers, and we need this to wear these like Black Lives Matter shirts. And I'm like, damn, you guys really took something that was like started as a movement that was meaningful and just turned it into something totally meaningless. And maybe it's not fair to say it's totally meaningless, but it has absolutely lost like
no, I mean, like, what is that money going to? Like, that's not going to grassroots. Like, I mean,
Support
movements.
your local Black Lives Matter T-shirt man. At the gas station, at the Walmart, he be at the like buy his shirt. Don't buy some girl on
Yo.
Instagram shirt.
Yo, like,
That's
real
what I'm
shit.
saying. And
Like,
so,
I
like,
mean,
another thing is like people like have it as like their Facebook like fucking like banner,
Yeah.
and it's like all these. It's just like it's these things that are like, look how people have it in their Tinder bios, like BLM, ACAB,
Oh.
or like see, like I'm like, damn, you guys really like no shit. Like I mean I don't know, but it's also like, what do you like? What do you think you're doing here? Like, what
Yeah.
are you?
How are you applying this in your real life? Like,
Right,
I know
it's
you are
not like an
theoretically all
identity.
about Black lives, but like, what about the real Black people that you interact with in
Literally,
your real life?
Are we gonna play this video? This
yeah,
like,
let's
the
play
video?
it.
All right,
Play
cool.
it. Play it.
All
It's
right.
fucking funny.
If you guys want to listen, you can listen to it on the stream.
Oh Jesus!
oh
Wait,
my
wait,
god.
is this? Wait. Is this volume on? Give me 1 second.
It's so bad.
Oh, no, this can't be.
She's crazy. What is she doing?
Thank God.
I can't hear it.
Science
Oh,
is back,
yes.
baby.
Science is back, baby.
And
Wait,
the
why
Earth
can't we hear it?
Oh, what the hell? Oh, here it is.
I don't even need to hear it to see the full
Is
read
round.
here. Like,
Not
Science is
clap.
back, baby.
Wash.
What the hell's going on? Here, give me a second. It's not muted. What's going on? Oh, wait. Here we go. Are you hearing it on the stream? You gotta bump up the stream.
Oh. Yeah.
Are you hearing it on the stream? You gotta
Oh,
bump
shit.
up the stream.
Yeah,
Oh.
it's on the screen.
Thank God. Science is back, baby. And the earth
Like, what
is
is
round,
she loves to do these
not
little
flat.
skits.
Washing your
It's
hands
like, I'm gonna become mayor
does
just to
work.
do
Yo,
this.
yo,
Social distancing
y'all Tide Scholars went to
does
that
matter.
bullshit.
And wearing a face covering does help
like,
My Tide Scholars
protect
got
all
me
of us.
weak this year.
I do love science.
I looked at somebody was
Becoming
like,
mayor.
every day Lori Lightfoot wakes up to figure out how to make living in the best city in the world embarrassing. It was like something like that. Like it was like
Oh,
Christ.
she loves to make these little weird sketches, and I'm like, this is what you became mayor for? I'm like, what are you doing, dude?
I'm so
Yeah.
glad that we can give you the A+
somebody is
content.
at home sizing her like, this is great.
Somebody's like, yes, baby, science is back. That's
Yeah.
right, Lori.
Well, you know, the next thing Lightfoot's gonna do is she's gonna get on on Twitch. She's gonna be doing some Among Us.
No.
With,
Should like join our Twitch stream. What's up, nerd gays?
What's up, gazers? It's me,
What's up,
Mama
bitches?
Mayor.
It's me. That's right. You didn't think I'd fucking nerd bomb you. It's not even
Connor
fair.
the Miller, thank you so much for that raid of 2. Connor Miller, party of 2, thank you so much. Welcome to Nerd Gaze. We're talking about self-care, and we're talking about, well, right now we're talking about
Shitty
annoying,
politicians.
yeah,
Roasting the
shitty politicians. We just watched a video.
Libs.
I feel like I'm constantly shitting on things.
You constantly what?
I feel like
Shitting
I'm
on
constantly just like shitting on things.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm
No.
always just like.
Did you not realize that's who you are? Like, or like,
Yeah, you-
what the fuck is up here? Like,
I've always thought I was a pretty optimistic person, but apparently, I'm like my roommate.
Yo.
My roommate was like making fun of me. Was like, "Yeah, Reefka's gonna go
Mhm.
on there and be like, yeah, this show it sucks, and this is why it sucks." I was
I
like,
just
"Yeah,
thought you knew.
Yeah, accurate. Well,
I just thought you
I-
knew at this point.
I think that's a good transition to one of the points that we were talking about last night, where you are very much someone who likes to go against the grain. But, you know, how does that come in conflict when, you know, something gets popular that you like, then it becomes contentious. Like you have a contentious
Yeah.
relationship with it.
yeah." I've been called a hipster since I was like 10. Not
Sounds like
like
a real
in like
hipster to me.
in like an annoying way. Like it was like like
Mm.
I actually like stopped being friends with someone. Like she stopped being friends with me because I would make fun of her because she only listened to like the top like 20 countdown or top 20 like songs, and her iTunes was like never albums, it was just songs. I actually had to do some reflection
Ooh.
after that. I was like 14 and I had to be like, okay, maybe I'm being a dick
Come
here.
on,
And then I had
14-year-old Rivka.
Mhm.
Reflecting.
I know.
I mean, you kind of had a point. It's just like you only like songs, you don't like albums. I don't know.
Yeah, like I was like, why? Because I was like, why are you? And like she liked like indie rock. She's like, she had like the
Mhm.
Shins on there, like Vampire Weekend, but it was all like their like singles, you know.
Was
Mhm.
she
And I was like-
buying music though? Like, cause you know
I don't.
what?
I guess.
feel
I don't-
that. I'm buying
don't-
single songs.
Right.
What the hell? Like,
Also, a lot of those
I would
songs were
make
like the
fun of
free song
her.
of the week. Like a lot of those songs, like I think like the Shins, the Strokes, and all those became like free songs of the week on iTunes. I don't know if you guys remember that.
maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. Because I
Yeah,
was
I
just like,
remember.
why don't you just get the whole album on LimeWire?
Rivka. Oh my god.
Oh,
Being classist. Wow.
classist and a pirate. You're a pirate.
Ew.
She was wealthy. She was
Telling them to
wealthy.
pirate instead of support
Mm.
the artist. Oh my
I know me
god.
over here pirating. Well, listen to this. I had a public speaking class when I was a sophomore, and guess what my project was on? Pirating music and how I think it's okay to do so. Because I
Wow.
had and you want to hear my argument? Because iTunes barely paid shit to the artist, and it was better to support the artist by paying their for their vinyl records, shows, and merch than buying music from them online. And I still stand by that. But I
Right.
still have I have Spotify, or you go on Bandcamp and buy from Bandcamp. But that was my whole point.
Mhm.
And then at the time, Spotify was just becoming like a thing. And my
Mhm.
teacher was like, you know what? Spotify is going to become popular. I'm like, no fucking way. I'll never get rid of iTunes. here I am now on Spotify years later.
Wow. And
That's
I'm still
yeah, I've been a little
I'm still on
elitist
Apple
shit since I
Music.
was, like,
Wow.
I've always been this
Yeah.
way. Like it's never changed
Simply because
phony.
of Frank Ocean, I have to have Apple Music.
because of Nostalgia
But-
Ultra.
No, because he has a radio show that sometimes he does,
Ooh.
and it is immediately available if you have Apple Music.
Damn.
Now, when was the
Ooh.
last time he did that? Last year, maybe.
Classic Frank.
Damn. Frank's not coming back on that
Here's
the
until
thing,
2 years later.
Here's the thing with Frank. Here's the thing with Frank. He put out this fucking incredible album, Nostalgia Ultra, in like 2009 or 2010, and you can't get it on Spotify or I think even iTunes because he covered the Eagles. He like took the
Yeah.
Eagles song and he put it
covered
in
it.
the song. Yeah, without American Wedding. And it's so
Yeah.
good. Oh man.
It is. Every time I hear the real one, I'm like, damn, I wish this was
I know,
Frank.
fuck that. Like the Frank version is so better, and it's on. I'm gonna listen to it after this. It's on YouTube, but it's not anywhere else. You can't get anywhere else. And I'm so
SoundCloud,
pissed
maybe?
about
I
it.
have it downloaded.
You can just
It's
download
You
it.
could download
Yeah.
it.
Mhm.
My man's just used to host
BMP3.
that.
BMP3.
Yeah.
I kind of miss
Um,
the iPod like touch.
I still have an iPod.
I miss the
actually.
Yo,
shuffle.
like-
I really love shuffling, not knowing what was coming up next. Just
Yeah,
clicking the
you
button.
can still shuffle.
I
Yeah, but
can't do
like
shuffle.
you get in, you like, I don't know, like the screen. I liked
I
no
need to
screen.
know what's happening.
You can just put your phone in your pocket, Kurt. Like, and
Okay,
and
fine.
just-
I'm afraid. Yeah, this is all accomplishable, and I'm not making a point. I had a lot of iPods that had broken screens, so I'm just saying I liked it when I couldn't see what was
Yeah,
going
my
on.
iPod got a broken
Damn.
screen right
I
now.
understand. We'll just
Somewhere.
get you like a little piece of paper just to cover your phone, so you can never know what's happening on it.
Yeah. And that was my first like MP3 player, the Switch, the one with the little clip that you would put on your like backpack or something like
Mhm.
that. So
Damn.
I had one of those
yeah.
like off-brand Zunes
I
that
remember.
could
Oh,
fit like 30
yes.
songs.
I missed
My
that.
cousin
Oh,
gave it
oh,
to me
damn.
when she got an iPod. Then I got like, I think I had that for years. Then I had like another off-brand one for years. Then I got an iPod
Oh
Touch.
shit!
Where's my? I don't even know where my iPod is right now. But
the holy.
yeah, I had.
Damn.
Oh yeah, my friend gave me her like iPod, the like first iPod. So I had that. Then I had a.
You know the
real
one that
iPod
was
Touch.
like it was like a square, and
Yeah.
I think it was like yeah, and me and my brother got that. We shared it. It was literally I remember so specifically us in the back seat being like, "This is the best day ever," and like
Man.
sitting in the back seat like with a little iPod. I mean to share it, and I was like, "What the hell?"
Kids will never know the like true euphoria of getting an iPod, and then you could put your music on it, and it's not like a CD player where like you got to be carrying around 15 CDs.
Yeah.
There's like pictures of
Switch
me as a
out.
child with my little CD player everywhere. I was just like,
Oh, the
Yeah.
CD booklets. You remember, like,
"Oh yeah."
I miss
Like-
those so much.
Mine is right
And
back
my
there.
parents
actually.
still have like so many stacks of CDs. Oh man, I miss that.
Yeah. Well, we did
I love
go on a
CDs.
tangent because we were talking about like when something gets popular and then like because we kind of just said like, oh, Rivka just hates everything. But it's
Oh,
like
Which is not
but-
true.
What-
I actually
which is
love
not
a lot of
true.
things.
Right. But like when do you stop liking something and like and it's not because but like a particular person is liking it. Like is that? Cuz I think I made that point last night when we were talking about that concept of like when someone that you aren't like particularly like groovy with and like maybe their like friend group starts getting into something that you like, it's like it seems like, oh, I'm an asshole for like not liking this anymore because like these people like it. But I think it's like when you liked it, that thing, it was, you would talk to maybe the people like emo music, like, oh,
Yeah.
okay, like I really
No,
like
it's
listening
exactly
to this
it.
one particular band, like it was me and my friends thing, and then like everyone started listening to this band, and it's like, okay, me talking about this music isn't safe anymore because people I
Yeah.
don't like want to be part of the discussion.
Right. Well, and the thing is, though, people. Okay, and here's where I become an asshole. But I'm only an asshole because I care so much about. Okay, for instance, like emo music is a good example, right? So I listened to a lot of like really embarrassing music when I was younger, like a lot of new metal, emo, screamo, whatever, the whole thing.
Mhm.
And I like it was so people would make fun of me. You know, it was like totally like I was like a floater, so I got away with being like I wasn't like I got away with being friends with everybody all like in middle school, whatever. But I had friends that I would go to talk to like about My Chemical Romance with or something or like whatever. Like I would go to these very specific people. They loved anime. And I would like hang like I would literally go at lunchtime, talk to them, go back to my table, or like go to class, talk to them. We'd like talk about the new album or something. And like that was like how I communicated about my music. Later on, now everybody's nostalgic about all this emo music, and I'm like,
you weren't there. You were never there.
You were never there. And everyone called me. They were like, "Oh, you and your screamo," and like, "Oh, you're so embarrassing listening to like this crazy weird music." And I'd be like, "Fine, I'll fucking listen to Taylor Swift if that's what you want me to do. I'll try to assimilate into your white girl culture."
But did you regret it?
Damn, bro.
Taylor Swift, Fearless, not bad.
Young White
Thank
Girls
you, because like I
really.
said, that first album hits.
Fearless and the one before that, not bad.
Young White Girls really got you fucked up, Rivka. I mean,
I know.
Whenever you reflect on trauma, like it's like there's a good 50% chance I'm gonna be hearing about like what like little Susie did.
Literally.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, well,
Yeah.
I
we're
don't know
all
what it was.
focusing.
I was
Yeah. We're all focusing on like white men and how like the patriarchy. We're trying to take them down, but white women are gonna have their reckoning one day.
oh my god.
Go ahead, Amy.
Yeah.
Oh man, I remember this one white girl. I went over to her family's Halloween party, and I ended up like taking off my jacket. I think I was Blade that year or some bullshit. Thought it was pretty cool. I go to leave. They can't find my cool leather jacket anymore.
Oh, no.
I'm like, all right, I don't know what the fuck is up. I'm
and it was probably your uncle's. It was probably very expensive.
like fuck it. It was a really nice jacket, maybe my favorite.
Oh.
I'm just gonna live with it though.
Oh.
What?
I'll get it back on Monday. Right?
Oh,
Thank you,
no.
Evelyn.
Evelyn.
We're calling out names here.
Yeah.
And then eventually I just get told by Evelyn, oh no, actually my dog's sleeping on it.
What?
White
What?
The
white girls,
audacity.
young white girls are the worst. Like,
Holy shit.
Oh my god, she was rich. It oh my god.
Yikes.
It's always the rich one.
Yeah.
God.
Yeah. If you ever meet a poor white girl, Saints, really nice.
Yo, get out of here. Don't you play that.
Yeah, little orphan Annie is someone to aspire to be.
Don't you play that Brown Michael Sarah.
No, I'll say it. Like my attraction to white women is what plagued me and my entire sense of culture. I mean, I'm distanced from my own culture because I don't know. I have all of these like European sense of beauty and like, I mean, why listen to indie music to impress white women, or screamo music for that matter too.
Let me.
I'm doing it
Yeah,
just
I
solely
definitely-
because I
as
want
a
to be
queer-
sad.
As a queer person, I definitely don't impress anybody by liking the music that I like. I only impress like older white men usually. And, like,
Yes.
yeah,
Big fave amongst the dads.
yeah, the dads love me. Dads
Dads love
love me.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm.
Dads. I have so many friends who are like dads, and they just like they love me. And
Yeah,
I'm like,
that was me in high school being like, my teachers love me because we have the same taste.
that's how I felt about my teachers. I was always trying to be like friends with my teachers.
I was always good with my white Spanish teachers.
Yikes.
Oh my god.
Big fans of Kurt. Big fans of Kurt.
Yo. Hey. I mean, teacher, they won't stop talking in the back. Maybe you should shut them up. is that what it was like, or like how bad was this?
It was, I don't know. It was just like they always felt like cultural imperialists. And I feel like there was a little like there's a little bit of sexual tension too. And just I don't know what that was about. Like
Yeah.
oh this kid's like well beyond his years. I remember this one time I went to, I think it was like a public concert over at Millennium Park. They had a free concert series, New Music Mondays. Do you remember those, Rivka? Do you remember that?
Yeah.
And I saw one of my Spanish teachers, and she was with her husband.
How old were you?
16. And she was with her husband. And she comes by and she's like, "Oh my God, Kurt, hi!" And she's like, "Honey, look, this is Kurt, the person I'm always talking about." And he is not happy to see me.
No.
Like he looks
Like,
pissed. He's just like he's giving me the death eyes. Like yeah.
It's
Oh
like,
my
who's
God.
this little brown boy? What
Yeah.
the fuck is up here? Yo.
Oh
And
my
that's the-
god, there's so many layers to this.
Yeah, and that's the
True.
thing. It's just
We
like
do not
in
have the
any
time.
relationship,
Not that.
because I've dated mostly
Yeah,
white women.
unpack
It's just
this,
like
Kurt.
I'm just like anytime I'm dating somebody, I'm like, am I your
Oh.
semester abroad? Like, is this what it's? Is this why
No.
You know,
Oh.
there was a good amount of time where I mean, just was accepting that I definitely was just like, the black boyfriend experience, and then just
you're?
knowing, I mean, that was going to be a time, and then they would go and do something else right
Mhm.
afterwards, and what a
Yeah, you ever look at like
Station?
the person you're going out with, like
Yeah.
their Instagram, and seeing some of their previous partners, you're just like, oh, I get it. This is why you dated me.
yeah, no, I mean, pretty much. I mean, it
Yeah.
I'm not gonna let you take this alone, Kurt. I I also was this guy. I mean, I'm I am still dating a white woman. Hi, Kate. but like I
And
mean,
he loves you very much.
I love you very much. But like, yeah, like it was definitely like before I met Kate, pretty much in all of high school, it was just like a lot of self-hate that got me there, like, and of being like, oh, like, why wouldn't I try to date a white girl? Like, everybody wants to date a white girl. Like, it's a fucking shame. And like, I was very shitty to a lot of black girls that I'm not proud of.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. Let's not get into it.
Look, I mean, hey, look, I mean, it's what happened. It's what you try to grow from. Like, I mean,
Kate saying hi, laughing my ass. Let's.
Well, what
Yeah.
that was yeah, I don't have anything.
Anything
I
to
didn't
add
go,
about
so,
our?
I don't have anything to add to that part of the conversation. Although I did, I liked a little like long-haired hardcore boy back in the day, and then I realized they just look like butches, and I was like, oh, I get it. This is why I thought I liked you, because you kind of look. You kind of like a girl, but yeah,
You look gorgeous.
we're all
Oh,
growing. We're all
also-
growing.
yeah.
Also, Julie, I'm sorry, Julie Loops, one of my frequent viewers, is saying this is a pressing conversation to pop in on, but I hope everyone's having a good day. Otherwise, I think we're having a good time, and we're sort of
Yeah, I mean,
We're just unpacking.
yeah, like, I mean,
Mhm.
look, no one's gotten into a wild story about trying to go out with someone and then finding out that they were a lesbian and they didn't know it yet. That's a lot. Yeah.
Well,
that-
everyone
I
had their
mean-
everyone tried to chase Amy at one point.
Yeah.
Yikes.
Everyone tries to chase Amy. 'Cause,
Oh
I
my
mean, like,
God.
queers are the best. Like, they're just like they're the coolest people. They're like the epitome of what everyone should be.
Oh my God. The funniest thing about this is, I thought we were also talking about Lori Lightfoot's wife.
Oh my god, Amy?
Yeah.
No, the movie Chasing Amy.
Yeah.
Chasing
Yeah.
Amy.
I
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
but
Lori
Yeah.
Lightfoot's wife is named Amy?
Yes.
Yeah.
How do you know more about our mayor than
Yeah,
we
what
know
is-
about yours?
Because we looked into it before this call. We went.
Yeah. Because I was
We-
like, is she married? And,
Yeah.
you know, I made some assumptions, and they were proven true.
They were
And,
right.
yeah, Amy. And she's like a whole foot taller than her. You know?
Trophy wife.
I mean, yeah, okay.
Yeah, for
Yeah. Well, you know, this is a good thing that Julie, you brought that up, that this is a depressing conversation, because sometimes self-care doesn't look like all happy and like roses and stuff like that. You know, sometimes it looks like a manic episode on Twitter. Sometimes it looks like really
Unhinged.
crazy unhinged posts. And that's where we get to the title, Coping Unhinged. Let's talk about everyone's relationship with sort of just like venting on social media, because I went on a tirade today on Twitter, and you know, I went to the whole thing of like, okay, like LinkedIn, I don't fucking get it. I don't understand it. I don't understand why anyone wants to be associated with me, an unemployed dude. Like, why are so many people in my circle and none of them have offered me a job?
I know, it's all just like a big jerk off, like jerk circle.
Yeah, and this thought leadership thing is total bullshit. You know, I'm just like,
Bullshit.
you've got this person who was like doing Edward 40 hands in high school, who's talking about synergy. Like, what the fuck?
Bro, it's all bullshit. It's all like this created like world of bullshit.
Yeah.
Bullshit.
I mean,
it's
yeah,
professional bullshitting.
And you know, no one came up to me, or like no one like texted me, because no one's texted me since 2018. It's always been like a DM on Instagram or like on Twitter. But yeah, I mean, I said like, oh, it may look like I'm going crazy, but this is my form of self-care. I'm just like getting it all off my chest, you know. And if like I don't get hired because of it, I'll go to trade school, because maybe then I'll actually get my money back for this $120,000 piece of paper that hasn't gotten me a job.
True that.
Yeah.
True that.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
but
all about connections. It's all about connections.
absolutely. But
At the end of the day.
yeah, everyone's relationship with social media, that was mine.
Yeah, I have a close friends list now. And that's where I do my venting and ranting. But before
Why did you feel the need to create a close friends list though?
because I felt like I was putting too much of my like emotional like state on the internet publicly all the time, and it felt like people had access to my energy that I didn't necessarily want them to have. Like I didn't necessarily want certain people to like have access to my thoughts.
Right.
Especially
I
people
feel like
praying
people
for
from
your
high school still
downfall.
follow me, like people from high school and like random asses, like people I went on like one Tinder date with. I'm like, I don't even know what you even, yeah, like what do you even know about my life? And I would just sometimes get really like, you guys know, I get really vulnerable, or like I start spiraling about some existential fucking theory that I have, and then go into some rant about that. And like now I mostly just post about cooking if I'm ever posting like a long thing. But like a video. You guys know, you all follow me on social media. I'm unhinged.
yeah.
I'm aware. Some people find it charming. Some people shoot that unfollow button immediately. But like,
or they mute.
it's
Or they mute.
or they mute me. I don't fucking
they
know
mute.
who mutes me. If you mute me, good for you. But I'd rather just let me know. Like, whatever. But like, yeah. I mean, I think that something that's interesting about social media is that at a certain point, when we all kind of developed our own platforms, all of our opinions suddenly mattered. Not necessarily because they do actually matter, but because we have our own platforms. And so there's this illusion that we all have a say in everything. And it's created this like really weird, like, we've had to create hierarchy in that, and that's where influencers come into play. That's
Right.
where people with like local influencers, like people say that like I'm a local whatever because I have like a couple thousand followers, and I'll post about an immersion blender and people will go buy it. Like literally, which is like more of like a relational thing. It's like everyone who follows me and interacts with me is my friend in some way. And so they'll be like, oh my God, like you inspired me to go get a soup blender, whatever. And that's like a fun thing, like a fun community thing. We're all like in this little circle, right?
Right.
But like there's like, you know, your local whatever. You have your higher influencers that are like just random, yeah, like white women posting their Everlane outfits and, you know, making money off it or whatever. And so it's funny because like people are making money off being vulnerable now. And it's like it's totally like another commodity. Like like sharing your pain is how you get attention.
Yeah.
For instance, like my ex is like has like 10,000 followers, but is like fully unwell, mentally ill, and just like spiraling schizophrenic, like online all the time. But has these followers that like continue to like their shit, and like I'm like, are you guys just watching this train wreck? Like, what is happening here? You know,
Right? Because it can't be something that it's like, oh, this is I can relate. You know, I think it's more
No.
of just like it's like a Schadenfreude. You know, it's like
it's a show. It's like a show.
right? And maybe people don't actually believe that this is what this person's going through. You know?
Yeah.
Right.
Because
It's like the Amanda Bynes thing.
Yeah.
Like that was shocking.
elaborate.
And we
Yeah,
were all
well, I
like,
mean, like, was that an actual
Yeah.
like thing that we were watching live, or was it like an act? Because that's what
I
everyone
mean, I
was
think
talking
it was
about.
real.
We were
Yeah.
definitely watching that breakdown.
she was not well, and like that, but social the way
Yeah.
it manifests through social media,
Right.
like I've seen the pattern, like Amanda Bynes and like honestly my
Britney, even
ex's
Britney
big-
Spears too.
Britney, yeah. I mean, there's a pattern in
Oh.
like
Free
how
Britney,
they're
let me-
creating content.
Yeah, free
Like-
Britney.
Free Britney.
Wait, when did Amanda Bynes have a breakdown? I can't fucking remember.
Dude,
Like
That was hell.
2011 or 12.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's
So
definitely where I was
sad.
thinking.
And it
Mhm.
was like,
I thought this was more recent. I was actually
No.
like, damn, dude.
like
I don't know
more
how- I don't
recently
know how
she's
well
been
she's
like
doing.
fine.
I don't
More
know.
recently, she went to rehab and like got like cleaned up. I saw she did I saw like an interview from her not that long ago where she was like, "Yeah, I was wilding."
Really?
Shit.
Yeah, and like, I think she's doing like better, but I mean, also that's just a whole nother thing of like, she is a child star. It's shocking when that doesn't happen. Like, you know,
Yeah, like this is her right now. It's just like one
yeah,
picture.
like she's like married to some like I think she's like married to some guy.
Mhm.
So
Okay, so I
Yeah.
just Googled Amanda Bynes breakdown, and the first hit is a Vulture article that says a guide to conservatorships and why everyone is talking about them. Britney's on it.
Oh,
and
She's
it's
a
like,
black
because
tattoo on her
Brittany
face.
is
Yeah,
in one.
Brittany, yeah.
Oh, again, I'm like, that's a perfect example. That girl has been like providing for her family since she was like 12 years old and not been treated well. Who's surprised that she has had a breakdown or two?
yeah, of course.
So Amanda Bynes has a heart tattoo on her face.
Yeah, I think
Dope.
she's trying to live some kind of like chola girl life, and it's
Right.
like, look, if she is well, I might let that out.
Oh my
Yeah,
You
'cause-
No,
know,
but now
like,
she's trying to look like she like went to the Fashion Institute of Technology. I thought fit.
FIT.
yeah, I think
FIT.
she's we will keep her lifted up, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. But basically, what I'm saying is that. But the way mental illness manifests through social media is really fascinating because
Mhm.
people are really out here openly struggling, and we're not sure. I mean, we all know someone who's like publicly spiraled, or like we were concerned, and don't know what to do. I mean,
Mhm.
there have been instances where people are on live posting, recording themselves like doing shit that's really not good, like, and I think that it's pretty crazy because it's like we're watching in real time like this, just like the combustion of the of humans. Like it's like
Yeah, and all we
we're
can really
watching
say
the
is like,
fire, we're
yeah,
watching the flame.
I mean, what can you say to it too than just like LOL same.
Literally, we're just making memes and just responding
Yeah.
because
Right.
we don't. No one knows how to fucking cope. Actually, we're just
Right.
memes are how we're coping.
Mhm.
Yeah. And also part of it is that like it's so hard to tell. I mean, I don't know if it's so hard, but there's some times when people are like yelling into the void and like shit posting
Mhm.
because they like need to get out of their system and they aren't like, I know I do this. I'm like posting shit and I don't want anybody to respond. And then
Yeah.
sometimes people are really posting stuff and they're like, and there is like intervention that needs to happen because they're like in real danger.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Mhm.
you said, spiraling. So, but to be able to see that in real time from so many people, especially if you follow people you don't know and you see it, and it's like, I can't come at you because I don't know you. Like, so it's
Mhm.
just so, yeah, that can be so difficult.
Well, I would love to open it up to the chat. Please feel free. I know, this is you got to be careful about what you're sharing online, but tell us how you cope and what your ideas of coping is, because I mean that's something that we're trying to figure out. Like what is the actual like process of coping that's beneficial to the person that isn't so self-destructive, because I think it sort of like boils down to like self-destruction at a certain point where I don't know. I mean, Twitter allowing you to block replies on things is like that was a clutch move, where it's just like
Yeah.
you know, and yeah, and then like closing your DMs. There's just like so I'm like how am I gonna use my social media in order to like air my grievances, like, and am I doing it so that I can get more followers, or am I doing it because it creates a sort of catharsis in me? And I don't know what that catharsis is for everybody else, but I think I feel really good when I get it out, you know. And
Yeah, it depends,
people,
I think,
yeah.
on how personal. Because like sometimes if you're
Mhm.
getting out something really personal and then it's out in the void and it's like public, like I have things that I've written about like on Tumblr or like on Twitter, whatever, that
Mhm.
I feel I'm like, damn, that shit's still out there, and I like have this really personal thing that I wrote and it's just like existing, and I'm like, kind
Right.
of wish it wasn't, but um there's definitely, yeah, and like it's something my mom once said to me. She's like, sometimes when you overshare, you're inviting people that you like unwanted energy to your space that you don't necessarily really want. And
Wow.
I had to like think
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
what oversharing meant, because I definitely overshare and it's a trauma response. And like um I overshare, but I've been working on that the last like year or so, because I'm like, that's why I
Mhm.
made the close friends. I'm like, I trust these people to to like, see what I'm posting and not, wish
You're not
me
getting the evil eye off these like
exactly my evil
Mhm.
eye,
13
and
people or whatever.
I wear it on me at all times.
Right. Oh, and then there's also because
That's
I'm
clutch.
always seeing the eyes comment, or the eyes emoji, like whenever someone says something about themselves, where they're just like, it's kind of like they're like holding you accountable, where it's just like, oh, that's like unwanted criticism right there, where you're like, oh, I know exactly what you're saying right there, but you like that's a little hypocritical because you're guilty of it yourself, you know. I mean, speaking of my own experience with that, like Rivka, what you said, it definitely resonates with me in that, like, when I realized that there were things that I was oversharing about, my gut reaction wasn't to like go back and delete those posts. It was to delete everything.
Mm-hmm.
And like that person no longer exists. I'm a new person. Let me reintroduce myself to the world. And I don't know if that was really the healthiest thing for me to do, because
Yeah.
none of the photos I have of myself previously exist. None of the photos I have in
Mm.
high school, none of the photos I have in college, they're all gone. And
Shit.
it's wild to think about that like, oh, well, I think what's also concerning is like how much I existed on social media and not just in the actual world. like the photos I took didn't exist for myself or for my enjoyment. They existed for people to see.
Yeah, I definitely try to approach my social media as like a kind of middle ground of like, because I actually really like to, I like going back on my Instagram and looking back at my life. And like, I like looking at archives. I like looking at things that I've done, people I was friends with in 2015 or whatever. Like, sometimes for me, it's really comforting. Sometimes it definitely is me spiraling, but sometimes it's actually me like looking for comfort, you know, or looking at my growth. Like, that's how I approach it. Like, I'll look at, oh, here I was in 2015. This is what I've learned in 5 years or whatever it is. And, that's something like for me it's really really important. I try to approach my social media as like genuine, like since I was like when we first got social media I was always like I want to be as authentic as possible. I want people to see the true representation of me, and like I've always like approached it from that lens. And I think that I, you know, of course that is questionable because like is anything actually authentic? Is it like when we're posting it for the public eye? Not necessarily, but I definitely I at least my intention is that, and so it allows me to have like a better experience with social media because I don't care as much about the response or reaction as I do. It's for me to have an archive of my life basically. It's like documenting my feelings and thoughts and ideas, um so I remember that they existed.
Yeah. Um, something I want to get to, and I'm trying to think about the best way to talk about it so that Tobias can talk about Mike Tyson.
Fuck. Ah, you.
is
I asked you. I
is
I
about
asked you,
how
don't.
how this year, and because earlier in the conversation when we were talking about liberals and these like fake radicals that are kind of just like jumping out of the woodwork and saying that like, oh, I'm so pro democracy and stuff like that, I want to be part of activism. um do we like, is there any possibility that these people are actually trying to be better people, and that like maybe people when they've been alone with themselves in quarantine or on lockdown, that maybe they did some sort of self-examination and are trying to become better people? Like, is that possible for the people in your life? Do you see that happening, or do you just like think that this is it's all fake?
Yes, but from what I've seen from those people, the minute they have the minute that it's comfortable for them again, they step away from whatever progress they've made. Like they're not willing to give up what they're comfortable with. Um is the reality. Um which I don't blame them. Like why would you? Why would you give up your comfort for the potential of failure? Whatever that looks like. The work that activists do, especially the activists that I know and like the activists that I've organized alongside and like my own shit, um, they've given up their whole lives to this, you know? Like that's exhausting work. So I think that's what's so hard is that it's almost like a slap in the face to the people who do this like full time. Um, because unless you're willing to give up that comfort, like there's no actual change. They can still, they might be good people, it's just like we know who those people are. I mean, they still are. I'm not trying to generalize, but like if I were to say the word liberal, if I were to say the word liberal 20 something, like what goes in your head immediately? I'm curious actually.
I mean, basically every white girl I know.
Yeah, middle
Right.
class, middle to higher class
But
white girl. I mean, like
I
also,
see it. I see it with like my cousins who are like
Mhm.
30, 40 something black people too. So
Sure.
Yeah, and I don't like. I would never say uneducated or like I would never say that, or something like that. I think it was like very superficial, very much as someone who would like share an article without having read it.
But you could also, I would say the same thing about a conservative person, you know? And
Mhm.
like, I think that, but I guess our immediate response to the conservative person would probably be someone who's miseducated. But I would also argue that's the same thing for the liberal person is miseducated too. I think they're both miseducated, and I think they're both
Right.
I think they're both quick to share articles that feel good to them.
Mhm.
Because like I said, it's the same narrative, different execution. Um, it's like, and I just don't think that people can see past. Like, it's funny because what I find really ironic is that people really like movies like The Matrix, or people really like we joke like we're in a simulation, but like people actually can't think about life in that like absurd way without losing their minds. Like most
Mhm.
people are like, no, 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 I need to have these confines. I need to believe that voting is the only answer. I need to believe that we live in a democracy. I need to believe that there's possibility for democracy. And like, they're like, I can't believe that the system is fucked. Like people are so like distraught by the potential of
Mhm.
chaos that they're like, I'm gonna make it up. I'm gonna force it. I'm gonna put this square into a circle, and I'm just gonna shove it in there because that's just gonna feel good for me. And like
Yeah.
that's what goes back to this illusion of this facade of normalcy, like that I continuously come back to, because that's really what it is. It's like people
Mhm.
continue to lie them to themselves. And I sound like a fucking David Fincher movie, but like it's true, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah, that is like the most sobering thing about everything, because I definitely felt that. Shout out to Millie Crossing in the chat. Thank you for being here. It's like, I wouldn't say that this is a very intense conversation, but we're getting to like the the kind of like truths of what everyone's been going through during lockdown, because we are in the second round of lockdowns, and we're gonna be seeing people getting hurt, people's feelings getting hurt. I mean, like, I'm thinking about right now just like how my family is going to resent me for like not allowing them into the house.
Yeah.
I mean, how big of a deal that some of my siblings have made when they're at the door and I say, where the hell's your mask? And be like, what, you don't trust me? And be like, you know what, like, why are you thinking this? It's like, it's it's not about you. It's about the situation that we're in. It's like, I love you and I trust you, but I don't trust anyone that you hang out with. I don't trust anyone else. It's like, Sato, even what you said, it's like, even if you had a roommate, it's just like, I don't know what kind of things you're going to be doing day in and day out. It's just like going to a coffee shop is a dangerous thing, and then now we're thinking about, I don't know. It's tough stuff. I'm trying to abbreviate everything that we were talking about in this conversation, but at a certain point, we
Basically,
were
there is
talking
no
about
answer.
self-care. Yeah, there's no answer, and there's no answer to how you cope, because everyone's coping in different ways, and
Yeah.
I don't know.
There's no such thing as like, at this point there's no healthy or unhealthy. I mean, as someone who like seriously loves and believes in accepting absurdity, as Camus says, and living your life by just putting meaning to it, as a passion of mine of doing that, and as someone who's like accepted this for many, many years, like, I'm kind of excited that everybody's accepting the simulation breaking, because like I think everybody needs to accept the simulation breaking in order to
Absolutely.
like move forward.
Mhm.
I think everybody needs to be like, oh fuck, there is no such thing as anything. Let me have this existential crisis for a second. We've all created this bullshit and we're destroying this earth that we've been somehow put on. And like, I want people to have that moment, because
Right.
once you do that, then you start giving a shit, or you do the opposite. I don't know. It depends on how deep your depression is. But like, for the most part, like, I mean, then just read my fucking article about nihilism. I don't know.
Yeah.
That's my spiel.
Anyone else have thoughts? Because we have a thought in the chat on that. Millie Crossing is saying, I think a lot of people have found Twitch during this time because it's a way to feel connected to others during quarantine, which has proven to be a really interesting coping mechanism. And I would definitely agree. I mean, that's the reason why I got onto Twitch, because I felt lonely and I saw so many communities being built online where people were actually expressing solidarity with one another and offering each other resources, whereas I wasn't getting that from my IRL friends. It's so strange how people who I haven't met in real life have gone the extra mile in ways that people I've known for years haven't done.
Yeah.
And what the fuck is that about? That's insane to me. It's mind-boggling, and it's like I don't want to like shit on anybody who I've known for years and people who I consider friends, because I understand you guys are all going through shit, and I'm happy if you're watching me. I'm happy that you're my friends, but like, throw me a fucking bone here, you know? Like, people are out here like reaching out and seeing if I'm okay, and it's like it warms my heart, like. And this shouldn't be a new feeling for me.
I know. COVID totally has opened up. Like, my friendships have strengthened. I've been able to strengthen my friendship with all of you, which is great. And like, yeah, it's definitely showed me the real ones for sure. Like, I haven't had this many people like reach out to me, because I always felt like I was the one reaching out to Kurt. Like, I was always the one like, hey, initiating stuff. Mm-hmm. But now I'm at a point where I'm like, oh shit, the real ones are here and they're my fucking friends and they care about me and we have these like amazing relationships that we've built. And it's kind of hilarious that it happened because we were forced to quarantine. So
yeah,
I don't really know what that means.
I mean, that's the ugly part of it too, where, you know, I think like we were all alone with ourselves.
Right.
And maybe figuring out. Together. Right. Yeah. We're alone together. But and the reason I brought up that question earlier about, you know, can someone become a better person like during this time is like, I realized so much because of since I was alone with myself, of what I didn't like and who I was meant to be. And like, I've become so closer to my family, so closer to individuals who maybe I might have, you know, like, I don't know, at a certain point, like, made fun of because of how earnest they were or how unironic they are, you know? And like, now it's like, irony is the thing I hate the most. Like, I'm just like, this is like, I want people to be genuine, and because I never know when people are joking.
Yeah. You have that problem with me a lot.
Yeah. We've gotten so much better though, because we communicated with it. Yeah. And this has been a friendship that because we put a lot of work into it for at least like a year and a half.
We did.
And like, those are what your friends deserve. Your friends deserve some work. So, I mean, you don't have to like be a different person. You just at least need to hear them out about what they need. Julie Loops in the chat. If I can add, I completely agree with the sense of community that people online are able to build is really comforting and honestly pretty revolutionary, if I can invoke that word. It gives me a lot of hope for people when it seems like there isn't.
Yeah. And what's interesting is that actually my whole like childhood and adolescence was spent connecting people on the internet. Mm-hmm. I like most of my like friends were people I made in like simulation games. Like I played Habbo Hotel, or like I was like really in MySpace or Tumblr or whatever it was. Like I was playing simulation games online, whatever. Like I was building, like I didn't like my IRL friends so much of the time. And like I felt so isolated from them. And so I literally just built communities online. So it's actually very natural for me to do it. Because like I started meeting people offline when I was like 15. And like, it was just so natural. Like that's how I gained community. So I totally agree with that, Julie. And like, I think that, it is in a lot of ways revolutionary, because like this isn't something, I mean, we're the first generation to be able to have done that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I had the same experience too. Like I had a lot of friends online and like people who I'm still like, it's mad to think I'm like there are people that I have like been in mutuals with across platforms for like
Yeah.
a decade at this point. It's like
Mhm.
truly
Yeah.
crazy. But I was the same way. I like didn't feel I felt disconnected from people from my friends in real life. But I had friends on Tumblr or I had friends on MySpace or whatever that I was like
Mhm.
close to that I still am close to now. And like I mean, Rivka, we met on Instagram. Like
Yeah.
and before quarantine had not talked outside of like Instagram DMs.
We just like liked each other's stuff all the time.
Yeah. And like would reply every now and then and like
And
yeah.
I was like, why don't we
there's
fucking talk?
I know, and like there are so many people like that were like at the start of quarantine or like through quarantine, or even just in the last couple of years, like of me not being in Chicago. Like there are people from online that I've gotten a lot closer to. Because I guess I feel like I think there is, especially for people our age, there's like something about being online that feels like it's easier to be vulnerable. So then there are
Yeah.
people online who know you a little better or like
Mhm.
that you are more willing to be open and honest with versus people in your immediate circle, which is
Right.
another time to unpack that.
Yeah.
Right.
uh
Mhm.
it's so
Yeah.
interesting. I'm like, yeah, I know all of you because of the internet, so it's like it's interesting to think that like that's going to keep happening now because like we at home doing nothing but being on the internet.
Yeah. And you have a very unique experience because you're organizing events remotely, like doing like online
Yeah.
events too.
Yeah. My like it's so interesting too because like yeah, at my job, all of our like arts programming now is online or it's like virtual. And there are so many people like we've been able to like expand outside of like the DMV basically because everything is online.
Mm.
And so it's really interesting to see the like people that we would have never been able to engage with. Like there's this woman in like Italy who's taking a painting class with us.
Wow.
Who like is gonna be taking this class at like 1 a.m. her time.
Oh my
Wow.
god.
And she never would have been able to take a class with us otherwise.
Yeah, that is a crazy. That's like
Mhm.
an amazing thing.
Or like kids and like older adults who live like in Ohio and like California are like able to access these classes and get art supplies through us because we can't have in-person programming, which if we were in person we wouldn't have spent any of this time doing
Wow.
this. So it's like that is really interesting too to
That
see.
is interesting. The shift. Wow.
Yeah.
Is the organization you're working for thinking about continuing this once like in person classes are going on? Because I'd hate to
Yeah,
think that like
definitely.
the people that have been taking classes now are going to be left behind once in person thing becomes like a priority.
Yeah, no, we're definitely like planning to keep our classes online like happening once we can go back in person because then we can also like we've been able to work with teachers who are from far away too.
Hell yeah.
That's
And like
incredible.
because most of our teachers are like in our county or like within an hour and yeah, now we have like a lot of teachers who are out of state, like they're in New York or they're in
Damn, I have a lot of
Jersey or
thoughts about
whatever.
this. But that could be for another time. But like thinking about unifying or whatever, like borders have basically been eradicated from like our ability to collaborate with one another.
Mhm.
Yeah.
They're all in different places except Kurt and I. We're both in Chicago, but like that, is.
It's
I mean, it's
lockdown.
always been there. We've always had access to it, but we never quite understood. But yeah, that's sometime later we talk about that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think, and also, I mean, because I do want to wind down the conversation and get to our Robin Bain and Ivy. But Tobias, like, what is your experience with the online gaming community and like maybe friends that you made or lost, um, and how has that changed during quarantine?
Um, you know, to actually think about it, at the beginning of this quarantine, I had I wanted to play this game called Divinity Original Sin 2. It's a really large large like mini hour, like I think I've now put 90 hours into this game, and we're
Wow.
still not done. And it's a cool RPG that's kind of like Dungeons and Dragons. Um, like, but I actually did not have anybody that wanted to play it. So I this was the first time I've ever done this. I know people that have, but I went on to Reddit, and I actually went on to the Reddit, and
Wow.
I went
You are so brave.
like no, like it so I mean, look, I before there is this whole um there's this whole there's this one pinned post that is like looking for people to play with, right?
Mhm.
And so I would look at the people that posted there, and I would look at their accounts before I replied with like my info for us to link up. And I found someone that was pretty cool. And honestly, I've been playing with him for since the whole quarantine.
Oh shit.
Honestly,
Wow.
and I mean, we were both like unemployed recently, and just were like, yo, we got the free time, like, do you want to put like 2 days a week into this of us playing for like we play for like
Wow.
5 hours maybe, like, each time, 5 to 4 hours, and so we play like 8 hours a week, and that's been like really really good, like to have a structured time to like
Mhm.
play with. I guess I would now definitely call them a friend, and that's something that I never thought I would
Aw.
doing. Yeah, I mean, he's never gonna watch this, so I mean, but yeah, I mean, he's
I'm so curious about who he is now.
and I still don't even know his name. We just call each other by like both of our like tags.
Usernames? I love that. I love that
my
so
God.
much.
And his is Gobbles and mine is Farty. So like we just call each other by that. Like I
Gobbles
Like, I
and
mean-
party.
Really beautiful.
yeah, like I mean, the funny thing is we definitely talk about like personal stuff in our lives that's going on, but like we still have just not been like, hey, so what's your name? And you know what?
I love that.
Like it's now gotten to that point where it's too late to ask, so it's definitely gonna be once like we beat this game, then I'm gonna be like, yo, what the fuck is your name?
That's
And
hilarious.
it's probably gonna be something like Alan, and I'm gonna be like, all right, cool. All right, dope.
It's Bob.
He's like,
It's
he's gonna be like,
fine.
it's Gobbles, dude.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
um, but yeah, I mean, also, I just have really become best friends with Kate. I mean, we were already best friends, but like we had to like stay stuck in the same house together for so many months unemployed. I mean, you either become like better together, or like you end up wanting to kill each other.
Right.
Which
Wow.
there were in this quarantine, like there were a lot of people that I saw that I was like, damn, like maybe this relationship just isn't meant to be. Like if you're like stuck in this house together and you want to like kill each other.
Right?
Aw. Kate's got a tear in the chat.
And um
Also,
But-
Venedrak, I see you. Thank you for joining us in the chat.
no, Vindrak, we were not. Oh yeah, our cats our cats hate us now, actually.
Cannoli
Yeah, I
nanny.
mean, yeah.
Oh yeah, cats.
Yeah.
Cats need their alone time. Y'all need
Yeah,
to take
they're-
more walks and less
Yeah,
gaming.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
fucking tired of us. I mean, well, Cannoli actually like waits at my door a lot of the time because I close my
Aw.
door. So
Oh.
I guess, it's more so because I mean, like, damn, he's not even gonna let me hate him. I
Right.
can like see him right there. Like he's gonna close the door. Like, Jarek, all right.
Yeah.
Guess I'll sit by. I'll wait. But yeah, like that's been my like quarantine experience. Also a lot of like when I get anxiety, I end up just not going to sleep a lot. Like, you know, so 3 a.m. is like is like average for me now of my time to go to sleep. Um, and plus I like know so many people of different like time zones, so like you know it just ends up happening anyways. Especially since even when I'm playing with Gobbles lives in California, so
Yeah.
I'm like
Wow.
he's starting when we're starting to play. I think it's like 8 o'clock for him,
Oh shit.
maybe earlier than that. While for me it's 10, or and then he'll tell me, oh yeah, it's like 11:30, and it'll be like 2:30 for me,
Oh shit. Yeah.
and I'll be like, I'm so fucking tired.
Wobbles, bro.
Yo, Gobbles, can we get done this fucking quest?
Well, Gobbles is a lucky player because we played last night, and Tobias, that was a great time. Some No Man's
Oh, yeah.
Sky, getting lost in space. We got to do that
Yeah,
more often.
Yeah, find out some brand new things. Yeah.
So wait, Tobias, you said you be buying stuff. What are you buying? Because I also be buying stuff. I'm a sucker for the dollar section in Target.
Oh, it's so good.
And
Yes, I love the
Oh,
dollar
God.
section Target.
it's like every time I go, I'm like, what $1 thing am I gonna buy while I'm trying to get groceries?
Yeah.
Bluetooth headphones.
I always go to the clearance section of every Target, no matter what, just to try to see like what the fuck is up. Like yo, look, I'm just saying there was a good amount of time where I was finding like really good deals at Targets and at Walmart's for no reason. Like I bought a second pair of these that are like $80, 80 to $60, and I found them at Walmart for like $20. So it's just like shit like that. Just is what makes me like always like tiptoe around the Walmart clearance section. But the stuff that I've been buying, actually, here's another thing about online. I've been getting really into the Star Wars Black Series action figure collecting group, right? And so that has been a very weird place also with this election. Like this may come as a surprise to some people, but overgrown fanboys are usually Trumpers. And
I got my Black Series right here.
like it is a very contentious place of where there we go, part of the crew. We'll add you to the Facebook group. I don't know if you really want to be there though.
I don't want to be on Facebook. I do not want to be on Facebook.
But yeah, like it's this Facebook group, and I actually ended up meeting up with someone off of there because I ended up buying doubles a couple weeks ago because a brand new drop happened of where like these really exclusive figures came out, and it to meet someone from that Facebook group and try to help someone out, it felt really communal. Also afterwards I checked if this motherfucker was a Trumper, and luckily they were not. But like it's so like that place is so weird because Star Wars is such a thing about is so very much about politics, yet that group is like no politics on here. We don't talk about that.
That's so strange.
We just talk about the toys. And it's just like it is a bunch of dudes that have forgot like or have forgot or never understood like what any of this meant, and have instead focused on, oh, this is cool, right?
It looks cool.
It looks fucking cool, my guy. Like, man, and there's also, I mean, to be real, I mean, at first I was part of that Facebook group because I was, I still kind of am a part of that Facebook group to get certain figures and then resell them to these fanboys for high prices. But that's another another story. I mean, if they,
that's your activism.
if they want to fall for that, I mean, I guess, like, but yeah, that's my like online experience in times of quarantine. Um, you know, things I feel like, you know, uh, for the most part, I've gotten closer with people that I was already close with. Um, or I found, brand new friends, just like you, Kurt, and me and Rivka, like, actually, we started talking a little bit before quarantine happened.
Yeah, we were talking during Watchmen.
And yeah.
I mean, we were friends before, but like we became really good friends because of Watchmen.
Yeah.
Because I called you and I was like,
Yeah, and now we get to meet cool people like Asada. I mean, of course.
yeah.
And I mean, and I think, even this show is a thing that wouldn't have happened without quarantine. Like,
True.
Right.
True.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Cool. We have about 5 minutes left, which will give us at a nice 2 hour stream. So let's do a Robin, Ivy, and Bane. For anyone who's not familiar, Robin, Ivy, and Bane is our Rosebud and Thorn. Robin is something that is beautiful that's happened to you in either the past week or recently. Ivy is something that is growing, something that you're excited about. And Bane is the bad thing, the thorn, the bane of your existence, something that is just bringing you down. I think it might be best if we started with the Bane, Ivy, and then the Robin, just because every stream is just like, this is some fucked up shit we just went through. And I went first last time, so I am not going first. So who would like?
I'll go first.
Okay,
I'll go first. All right.
I think we know what your Robin is.
Oh man, I was gonna try to switch them. My Bane is that I'm gonna have to fight with with Kurt every week about the Mandalorian. Especially, it's gonna happen
Garbage.
tomorrow too.
Garbage. Oh.
And
horrible.
and me selling my soul again. No, but my actual Bane is just this deep uncertainty going on with us going into a second quarantine, being so unhappy with great, we have probably won this presidential election, like what else has changed? Like, I mean, is there going to be any fucking relief? And I mean, there's so many people that are going through it right now that have not even covered from the first lockdown. So what the fuck is up? My poison ivy, that's growing, I guess. I finally bought a Kindle, so that's gonna be fun to read things. Thank you, Jeff Bezos, for the one good thing you did. I don't know if there's really anything else. And then
Prime
my
Video.
Rob, man, fuck
The Boys.
the
Hello?
boys. Oh, the boy. I'm not shucking and jiving for that motherfucker. Oh man. But and then I guess we have the Robin, which Kurt has been wanting me to talk about this whole damn time.
Yeah.
Look,
You're gonna love this.
last week on election night, I may have had an edible. During that time, for some reason, I saw my cousin post about Mike Tyson and Boosie Badass having an interview, and Mike Tyson calling Boosie Badass homophobic and pretty suspect of why he keeps talking about gay folks. What I found myself watching was a weirdly emotionally intelligent Mike Tyson talk to Boosie Badass like a child. and And
All the words you're saying are insane.
Yeah. Only in 2020. 2020 is a weird fucking year.
Look,
Simulation's
I
broken.
know.
What a sentence.
like, like, who would have thought that Mike Tyson talking about being a bad person and wanting to like change himself after years of being a horrible piece of shit would be something that I could laugh at and like lose myself in for a good. That was like a hour conversation. Like I watched all of it. At first, I was just there for I mean the funny clips, and then for some reason I found myself on the couch being like, oh my god, he's so right though. Oh my god,
It was
you
probably
really
it was
look,
an indica brownie. Or
like you really do have to accept who you are before you can make changes. Oh, Mike, Mike, though, like,
Mike!
while Mike is talking with this, like, yeah, man, so you just gotta look inside.
Oh my god.
and yeah, I mean, that stopped it stopped me from doom scrolling that night. That shit was dope. And I mean, the one with Joe Budden kind of sucked. I hate Joe Budden. God, like both look, let this be known. Mike Tyson is a total piece of trash, no matter if he changes or not. But Joe Budden is just a dude that keeps getting chances and still like ends up being the biggest piece of trash. Like, and so many times he has been talked to and tries to act like he's changed. Oh my god. So yeah, all right. That's me.
Thank you. Thank you so much for that.
You're welcome.
Who's up?
I'll go.
Thank you.
Okay, so I'm doing Bane first.
Mhm.
Bane, it's a hard time. Work is literally crushing me. And a lot of hard family stuff happening. But so that sucks. But that's kind of the status at this point. Poison ivy, something that's growing. A self-identified punk, have been getting into horror, watching scary things. So that's been fun. Thank you.
Lovecraft Country was a segue.
Truly was, because I was like, I'm not watching that show. That's scary. I'm gonna have nightmares.
And then Hannibal.
And I haven't. Now Hannibal. Now like, what have I watched? What scary movie did I watch? I watched the It movies recently. The second one was not that good. But baby steps. I'm getting there. So that's been cool.
Very good. Very good.
And so I will welcome recommendations.
I got you.
You'll get them.
And then,
yeah, throw them in the chat. Throw them in the chat,
everybody. And then also, yeah, me and my mom getting outside more has been fun. And then good is my mom is doing her rounds of radiation now, and she should be done in December, so that's really good.
Nice.
Yeah.
So after a whole year, I mean, like truly, like treatment started at like surgery, and then treatments right at the beginning of the pandemic, and now we're getting to like
Jesus.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah, so like what a time.
Right.
But now we're getting to like radiation and like it being almost done. So
Good.
that's good. So those are my things.
Awesome.
Also, it's Christmas season, so my room is decorated to the nine.
Nice.
Also great.
Yeah. Parumpa-pum-pum.
Oh my god.
Rivka, you want me to go next or you want to go next?
I can go.
Okay.
Bane, yeah, everything sucks. Continues to suck. My family has COVID. I things are just relatively pretty bad. Um, the Ivy. I have some cool job opportunities were coming up, and my work is interesting right now. And there's that. Um, yeah, and reiterating, like I've been developing some really sweet relationships and friends, and like that's been really special for me. And then my Robin, I guess, would also jump off that. Um, is yeah, feeling pretty secure in all my friendships right now and relationships. Like that's a hard thing for me. So, and trying to find the balance and not overextending myself and letting people take care of me. So, yeah, I'm in that self discovery journey, and like reading Pleasure Activism by Adrienne Marie Brown is really helpful. Um, that's definitely I'm a queer abolitionist book club on Sunday, so that's our book right now. So there's that. Um, but yeah, I think something I'm looking forward to is finding a new fucking show. We
Right.
always watch
Oh,
Star Trek.
don't
Actually.
worry. I got you.
Please,
I got you.
yeah, you did a good job last time with Raised by Wolves. So
All right. Don't.
Mm-hmm. Which we should probably recap Raised by Wolves next week.
yeah,
Because I mean I still haven't finished it. I said I was going to, but I didn't do it.
that's okay.
Just hey, look. Just finish it up, and we'll just talk about it for the final time. Sorry.
Yeah.
Nice.
Sorry.
But
we'll
also
send it out
don't
to
like
sea.
don't just recommend Rivka stuff. I want to hear those recommendations too.
Well, I mean, mine are different for Rivka than what I would
what
for
you think I would
you.
like? Oh, okay.
Yeah, but like I mean that's just because I if I recommend something to Rivka, I also tell them like, yo, I'm also recommending this ironically. Just like I recommended you Under the Silver Lake, which I told you was like I think actually a bad movie, but like
Yeah.
is still gonna be something fun to watch. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
True.
And what I'm saying is, Kurt, I won't recommend you pieces of shit.
I get pieces of shit.
Honored. All right. Bane. Um, like depression be finding a way this week. I thought I made so much progress and with my therapist and with meditation and that imposter syndrome just keeps on knocking on my door and it's just and I went on this huge like Twitter tirade today about like how much debt that me and my father are for like me going to this private liberal arts school that basically I paid $120,000 for trauma and how to like things to unlearn about myself and it's just like I could have just went to state school could have went to DePaul got like a cinema studies degree been working in like
Dude,
this,
I'm in hella debt from DePaul, so less than that, but still a lot.
yeah but yeah and I need to find a job because it's getting pretty bad where it's like I'm too dependent on my parents and it's like lots of shame. So that's my bane. My ivy is my Discord. More and more people are joining the Discord, potential collaborators and people who will be coming on the show, but also the people who have been active in the community have just been astounding me with just how nice and how thoughtful they are and the resources that they provide to other people. And I'm just like always astounded by just how talented they are. So I'm really excited about tending to that community and building it. That's my ivy, and my Robin is this week's selection of programming. This is the stream is very transitory. I made affiliate last week, and I'm so happy that people are subscribing. But it's figuring out what each week will be is really fun. like next week I have some really cool people who I haven't talked to in a long time that are going to come on the show, and you know, I'm excited about playing games now, and just like where, you know, it like games felt like it used to be like a necessary part of being part of the, you know, conversation. You know, it's like everyone's playing Halo 3, you got to get on that multiplayer. You know, it's just like now I'm playing games for my own enjoyment, and it feels really good. And it feels really good to play multiplayer games too with people who aren't as competitive as like the normal folk.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's pretty much it.
Can I ask one question, Kurt?
Please.
What's wrong with Halo 3? Like,
Oh, there's nothing wrong with Halo 3. It was my
Alright.
approach to Halo 3, whereas like I only bought it because everyone else was playing it, and I wasn't very good at it. You know,
man. All right.
everyone
All right.
would just destroy me with the energy sword, and you couldn't
Alright, I'm
dual wield
sorry.
you couldn't dual wield the needler anymore. So there's that. So that's my problem with Halo 3. Yeah.
Because that Halo 3 has a problem with you.
Oh, that could be it. Thank you for saying that. Does anybody have any like sort of projects they want to promote? Anything that they're working on that they want to announce? Rivka, how's that comic going?
I'll get back to it soon.
Yeah.
Okay.
I need to live through some shit first, and then I'll get back to it.
I like that. Yeah, I got a potential comic in the works too with someone who's moderating my Discord. So
Hell
Yeah.
yeah.
We should have a discussion too, because they actually gave me the whole lowdown about like what you need to do before like the whole like creative process starts happening, like logistics. So
Oh fuck yeah, I would
we'll have
love
a
that.
combo.
Yeah.
All right. We're all cool. This has
All
been
right.
great. I love it. Thank you so much for being a part of Nerd Gaze. Asada, thank you for hanging out with us. You gave us a great idea. We're going to try to have a guest every single week. So we'll see who comes up next week. All right. Thanks everybody in the chat for hanging out. You had some really great contributions. Julie Loops, thank you so much for saying what you've been saying. Millie Crossing, Venodrak, I saw you out there. Fashionably Kate, love what you do. I like what I'm hearing. I like it. Last Lost Girl, also thank you for showing up. Hope you had a great stream.
Cannoli and Annie honorable mentions.
Honorable mentions. All right, everybody. Good night.
All right, good night. See ya.
Night.